Hello everybody and welcome back to possibly the final episode of the life and suffering of Sir Brante, here with Mustering the Forces. The crimson sun slowly rises above the horizon. You make your way through a city in chaos, carefully observing what is happening on the streets. The rebellion is flaring up again after a night of calm. Once again the commoners are taking to the squares in droves. The grim resolve in the rebels' eyes speaks volumes. They are determined to seize their freedom or die trying. There are others, however, who are huddling inside their homes, locking their doors, and praying to survive the revolt unscathed. With every passing minute you see more and more people carrying banners. They bear a hand clutching a lantern, the mark of the last straw. The conspirators have left the shadows at last. They hand out guns to the common folk, using these precious minutes to teach them how to fire. The artisans are out on the streets too, cobbling together makeshift shields out of wood and nails, protect against the nobles and their blades. Fortunately for the rebels, the nobles remain divided. The old noble bloodlines have sided with Doris Otton. The Archdeacon has sworn to bring down the revolt by any means necessary. His noble militia now stands guard in the Silver District, where the city's most eminent aristocrats have their homes. They represent the greatest threat to the revolt. Many nobles of the mantle, however, are all too eager to violate their oath of fealty and side with the rebels. Though ennobled to serve the Empire, they no longer want to suffer under the boot of the highborn Arcadians and human gentry. With still many who are undecided, soldiers and low-ranking officers of the Legion from the city garrison, officials and functionaries, they have all found themselves caught between the Overseer's order and the people's revolt. Many of them are biding their time, hoping the Legion or the Prefecture will spring into action and quell the unrest. But the Prefecture has yet to react. The city prefect, Sir Elborn, still has not made it clear what side he is on. Even the clergy have been swept up in the strife. Abbot Lennart is gathering new believers for a procession to the Silver Tree, where the people will elect a new patriarch. Old believer priests and common folk who prefer to cling to the lots and save their souls stand in opposition. Even the Inquisition, whose duty it is to protect the Church of the Twin Gods against heresy, has been tainted by this schism. The true fight for the fate of Anazotti will begin in a matter of hours. You've had 8 years to carry influence amongst the people of the city. It's time to put your connections to the test. Who can you sway to your side? Who will be willing to sacrifice their lives and fight for your cause? Doesn't look like we can do very much, however. We can bide our time. The only thing we can seem to do is incite a riot amongst the Legion troops. The officers and soldiers of the Legion garrison in the city, they're all but ready to fight for the revolt. We could have armed the believers, assembled a squad of loyal rebels, support the old believer priests, unite the nobles, or buy the people's loyalty. Which we can't do, unfortunately. So we will incite a riot amongst the Legion troops. Bring them on side if we can. You head for the armory. The main forces of the Legion are still several hours' march from the city. The soldiers stationed here must be wavering. They may yet join the revolt. Soon you reach the ancient barracks built of only stone. Legion soldiers standing guard around it are exhausted and anxious after a sleepless night. They will not trust an unfamiliar face. However, some of them recognise you. It's Judge Brante, let him in. The air around the barracks is thick with alarm and unease. The officers are forming squads to head out and break up the crowds, but the soldiers are already on the verge of a full-blown mutiny. The only thing keeping them in check is an age-old fear of their betters. You waste no time. In the middle of the square, in front of the armory, is a platform. You leap onto it and address the soldiers of the Empire. Warriors of the Legion, Montgomery Brante, the defender of the common people against the Arcadian elite, has something to tell you. Do you know what happened to Thomas Guerrero, the Legion captain who was rescued from Commander Otton's clutches? You do have their attention now. Many of them are aware of Thomas and his plight. You continue impassioned speech with their eyes trained on you. Captain Guerrero was a soldier just like you. Have you all earned a military rank and the right to serve just to grovel in the dirt before the Arcadians? You are nobles of the mantle, but the Imperial authorities will continue to treat you like dishonourable rabble until you force them to reckon with you. Today is the day when the soldiers must join the people and cast off the chains of Arcadian tyranny. A furious shout cuts your tirade short. The garrison commander has had enough. The enraged old nobleman jabs a gnarled finger at you. Traitor, you dare call yourself a nobleman? Seize him now, you are servants of the Emperor. The soldiers do not budge. They watch you intently, waiting for your response. That's an order. Are you deaf or just stupid? You cast an arm forward and bellow, "Down with tyrants! Kill him!" A legionnaire sword pierces the old nobleman's chest. He collapses to the ground with a heavy thud, like a sack of old cloths. Slowly his body dissolves into simmering ash. The old officer still had lives to spare, but by the time he returns to the living, history will have been written without him. The invisible fetters of terror that once bound the legionnaires had been shattered. They made quick work of the remaining officers. After the mutiny, many soldiers throw away their uniforms and flee, but the rest of them line up in front of you. The legionnaires bang their swords against their shields. You command them now. They have only one goal: to put an end to the old regime. Do you have what it takes to realise their hopes and guide them to victory? It is time to find out. The sound of gunfire fills the city streets once again. The lull has passed. So the revolt continues to move in our direction, and we gain more and more troops, but no other major changes. You take the side of the revolt, as we were always going to do. So, we've got the troops that we need. Now we need to get the common folk on side, and we need to progress the revolt further. The revolt is going in the right direction, but we need to lead the revolt ourselves, which means we need to eliminate Sophia somehow. And I think we're going to have more chance with that than we are with a peaceful victory, because there's just simply less conditions for us to win here. We need to get the common folk on side though, that's important. A fading light, this event is a consequence of your previous actions. The sun rises higher and higher. Your carriage is hurtling down the street, making its way through the crowd with great difficulty. Many barricades have appeared overnight, made of old boards and rotten trash. You have to reach the prefecture as soon as you can. The gendarmes and judges' reaction to the revolt could be decided at any moment. Any word from Sir Elborn, no, even the slightest sign from him, could determine their allegiance. The Silver District is empty now, populated only by a searing wind sweeping light debris across the cobblestones. You smell smoke. A noble house must have been set on fire nearby. You hear hooves clattering in the distance. There is not a soul around. All you can hear is a fountain bubbling in the small square, mixed with gentle melodic laughter. You yell for the carriage to stop. Hello, Octavia. Or Latari, whatever your name is now. Those graceful movements, that clothing so light and airy, that thin, slender figure playing and splashing in the water. The rays of the sun dance and glitter on its golden skin. That hot, carefree day flashes before your eyes. The sound of the carriage on the cobblestones, the handkerchief dropped on the ground. Does Octavia still remember how you first met? This creature, does it still have anything in common with the prideful Archean lady you met here all those years ago? The creature that was once Octavia is laughing, as though she cannot see the ruined streets around her. You come closer. You feel a strange, involuntary sense of calm next to this bizarre creature. There can be no hatred in her presence, no pain nor suffering. She raises her large, pitch black eyes to you. Her voice rings with genuine elation. Do you see it all crumbling now? It's the old world dying, collapsing under its own weight. Do not fear it, it's not a bad thing. This is how it has to be. You live in the dream of the one called Octavian Melanidas, human who bears the name of Brante. This dream will end soon, and then all be gone. Your empire, your estates, your lots, your shining pillar. And you, human named Brante, will be gone too, and the great mind of the Latari will leave this dream and move on, beyond all borders, beyond all limits. What great joy that moment will bring us. The creature that was once Octavia stretches her thin arms towards the horizon, where smoke already wafts against the backdrop of the sky. The screams of the rioting crowd are drawing closer. This being is not of this world, and it is utterly helpless, especially here in Anazotti, in the middle of a rebellion. The fate of the woman you knew as Octavia Melanidas is in your hands now. It doesn't look like you can do much at all. We can't hand her over to the Inquisition. We can't get her out of the city. We can't share a final moment with her either, because we didn't participate in the Latari ritual, and we don't have theology high enough. So unfortunately, we have to part ways with her. The destiny of this transcendent creature is none of your concern now. I have no choice but to leave her. Her large, pitch black eyes are watching you, but you remain silent. Whatever connection you had to Octavia Milanides is gone now. The fate of this bizarre creature is none of your concern. She can follow her inscrutable path on her own. The creature that was once Octavia hangs her head in sorrow. The saddest thing about the death of this world, human named Montgomery Brante, is that you are so tiny bound to it. You'll burn along with it. We'll mourn you as you fade away. Goodbye forever. The thin, slender, ethereal figure hops from the edge of the fountain and onto the cobblestones. She turns her back to you and walks down an empty street. The eerie calm she emanated remains with you for a while, but soon dissipates. Only the acrid smell of smoke remains. You shake your head and wrench yourself back to reality. Elborn, the Prefecture. You need to hurry. Octavia Milanides has escaped this world, never to be seen again. That's a shame. I would have liked to had one final moment with her before she passed on out of this world. And another event which is a consequence of our previous actions, we now need to go to Sir Elborn, find out what his choice is. My hope is we have some influence with him, given how much we've fought on his behalf this entire game. It is noon. A large crowd has gathered in the Prefecture Square. The gendarmes form a line in front of the stairs, clutching their cudgels nervously. The commoners keep coming. The mob keeps growing. They call out to the windows of the Prefecture. Their screams are deafening. Elborn sides with the people. Gendarmes, judges, join us. The people need you. It's now or never. The rebelling citizens demand that the Prefect take a side. This decision must not be made without you. You have to get inside. You push your way through the dense crowd until you reach the gendarmes. Oh, Sir Brante, I thought you'd been captured. Men, let the judge through. Tell the judges to make up their minds. The people haven't attacked us yet, but you never know. The main hall of the Prefecture is stuffy and crowded. The din of voices is as loud as outside. Almost every judge in the province is here now, save for those who stayed home or fled the city in advance. Most of them demand that the Prefect disperse the crowd. Augustine Elborn is on the podium in the quorum, looming above the indignant judges. No, I will not stick the gendarmes on the people. It is the Prefecture's duty to listen to the Emperor's subjects, not force them to be silent. If we disperse this crowd, it will only fan the flames. And what are the Overseer's orders, Sir Prefect? We have to quash the revolt while we still can. Tell the gendarmes to do their duty and protect the city from these riots. Or do you want this so-called People's Court to hang us all? Have you forgotten about the last straw in that freak Sophia? They're executing people left and right as though they're wielding the divine law. Do you really think you'll be spared? The judges applaud Fockergraben, even those you believe to be the Prefect's most ardent supporters. This unrest needs to be quelled with words, not clubs. If we turn this demonstration into a bloodbath, there'll be no stopping the carnage. Damn. Elborn tries to respond, but cries of outrage drawn out of his words. The Prefect frowns in consternation. The wrinkles on his forehead grow deeper. He casts another glance around the quorum and notices you standing in the doorway. We can't condemn Elborn. Neither can we convince him to openly side with the revolt, which is unfortunate. We don't quite have enough valour to do so. We could await Elborn's decision, you will not intervene, or you can support him. I think we're going to support Elborn and hope for the best here. You start elbowing through the agitated crowd of judges and make your way up to the podium. You stand to Elborn's right. He acknowledges you with a friendly nod. Let Judge Brante speak. You address the judges. Sir Prefect is right, we need to talk to the people, we need to convince them. Every commoner knows the name of Brante, they respect the prefect, they will listen to him. This is the only way to prevent more riots. The judges respond uneasily. Have you lost your mind, Brante? The revolt is already here. It can't be stopped. Wasting more time trying to convince the people is the same as helping the rebels. Enough, Sir Fockergraben. I am still the prefect. We will negotiate with the crowd outside. This is my final decision. The prefect has managed to regain his composure and confidence thanks to your support. There are still disgruntled voices in the courtroom, but no one would dare to question his actions directly now. Only Fockergraben is still fuming. He stares daggers at you. Well done, Brante. You finally shown yourself in the made you cur you are. You may have convinced the prefect, but no true nobleman will ever side with you. You, Elborn, and the gendarmes leave the courtroom and step out onto the stairs of the prefecture. The mob clamours loudly upon your arrival. People of Anazotti, you all know that I have fought for justice for the common people as the prefect of Magra, and right now I'm asking you all to trust me. Do not take up arms, do not listen to these last straw thugs, do not riot or commit senseless acts of violence. Keep order in our city. Allow me to negotiate with Overseer Tempest. The mob buzzes again, this time in outrage. Whose side are you on now, Born, the people's or the Overseers? Are you telling us to bow down, wait for the Legion to come slaughter us? The prefect urges them to remain calm. You've already started this revolt and showed the Overseer the times have changed. The common estate is a powerful force, a force to be reckoned with, a force to be negotiated with. But blood and death will change nothing. It will only bring the Legion down upon you and your families. The crowd is split. Some continue to demand that the prefect take their side. Others, however, begin to shout in his favour, insisting that the revolt can be resolved peacefully without bloodshed. The rebellious horde's former unity is no more. Elborn is about to give you a chance to speak when you suddenly hear hooves clacking towards the square, coming from the Silver District. The people at the edges of the mob begin screaming in terror. Confusion and fear ripple through the crowded square. The militias are coming. It's Oton and his noble militia. So, the revolt loses one. The nobles, we have no followers now. However, we are now the indisputable leader for the common folk. And time progresses onwards. So, we have some support now. We have the troops, we have the common folk on side. We need to get the revolt back up, and we need to be leading the revolt. I think peaceful victory is going to be a tough one to win, because we still need to win over the clergy, re-win the nobles, and all our other conditions as well. I think if we can get the revolt back on side, that would work for us. The noblemen obviously don't like us. Clergy might support us, we'll have to see. The prefecture under siege. The searing sun looms high in the sky above the rebellious city. The square in front of the prefecture is packed with commoners. Just a moment ago they boldly demanded the judges and gendarmes side with the rebellion, but now they are terrified. They fear the noble army that is coming for them. Their calls for rebellion are gone, replaced by frightened screams. Hooves thunder under the cobblestones. The earth quakes beneath their feet. The noble militia, led by Doris Otten, carves a path through the human sea. The terrified rebels scatter as the riders approach. The gendarmes remain where they are, forming a tight circle around the prefecture and Elborn. The prefecture calls out to the crowd, his voice hoarse. Everyone stay calm, let them through, do not draw your weapons. Otton's riders push the mob aside and eventually reach the tall building. The Alkin commander draws in his reins only when the gendarmes are all that separates him from the prefecture stairs. Prefect Elborn, how dare you disobey the orders of the province's rightful rulers? You have abused your position to appease rebels and defy imperial rule. This inconceivable rebellion is your fault. It's time for you to accept your well-earned punishment. In the name of Archduke Melanidas, I hereby order you and your gendarmes to surrender your weapons. The supreme judge of the prefecture maintains his composure in the face of this recrimination. I only obey the laws of the Empire, so Otto, not you or your runaway Archduke. Otton's face contorts into a predatory grin. Excellent. You had your chance to save face, old man. Instead of a dignified execution, you and your cronies will hang, like the foul rabble you betrayed us for. Otton lifts his sword skyward, prepared to order an assault. The riders behind him are about to attack. The gendarmes ready their clubs, their hands are trembling. They will not stand a chance against the noble cavalry. The mob begins to shift, about to flee the square. The fate of this moment hangs by a thread. And there's plenty of things we could try do, but only one of them seems to be successful. We could stay out of it, and I think we'll lose. We can't get Otton and Elborn to reconcile. We can't overthrow Elborn. We definitely can't challenge Otton to a duel. We can also try to rouse the mob and encourage them to defend the prefecture, but our willpower is just a little bit too low. However, we might be able to get Otton's army to abandon him. Let's give this a go. We just have enough diplomacy to manage this. To everyone's surprise, you walk confidently through the ranks of gendarmes. The riders notice your raised arm and rein in their horses. The noblemen know who you are. You begin to speak, not to Otton, but to the militia. By the verdict of the imperial court, Otton has been stripped of his rank in disgrace. He no longer has any right to command the militia. The law of the empire has spoken. Why are they defying it? Flabbergasted at your audacity, Otton makes his horse prance. A menacing sight. Once a filthy commoner, always a filthy commoner, Brante. Your preposterous verdicts mean nothing to true noblemen, and they never will. You only grin at their words, at his words even. True noblemen are free to make up their own minds. Otton is not their master. The riders grip their reins, hesitating. You speak to them again. Soon the city of Anazotti will have a new order and new laws. There is no stopping it. Why follow a criminal and a fool who doesn't give a damn about their future? The revolt is about to prevail, and when it does, all who opposed it will hang, but those who accept the new order and fight for it will be pardoned. You swear on your noble honour. I vouch for the words of Judge Brante as the prefect of Magra. Surrender to us, good sirs, and your lives will be spared. Shut your traitorous mouth. Follow me, men. Cut these rebels down. The proud archer lifts his sword skyward and rushes at the gendarmes. Not one cavalryman follows him. Otton smashes into the gendarmes alone. He slices left and right with desperation so fierce, it almost seems as though he might be able to break through the gendarmes' defences single-handed. But not even his skill as a swordsman is enough to oppose a company of trained men. In the end, Otton finds himself knocked from his saddle and shackled. Cowards, turncoats, you're begging for mercy from this pitiful rabble. You'll die in dishonour and suffer forever at the foot of the pillar. But the noble militia has already made its decision. Their commander has been disgraced and their morale has crumbled. The riders surrender their arms. Otton will not receive the same mercy. After his prior crimes, Doris Otton has committed new offences against the subjects of the Empire. His final trial awaits. The prefect turns to you. Judge Brante, you are familiar with Sir Otton's crimes. What is your verdict? You pronounce your sentence. Otton is hereby sentenced to death by hanging. Let the people of Anazotti see that there is one law for all. The mob round you explodes with elation at your words. Otton is stunned, shocked, unable to believe what is happening. He does not even struggle when the gendarmes throw the noose around his neck. The final realization dawns on the ugly nobleman at the very last moment. For the first time, terror flashes in his eyes. Brante. His neck snaps with a sickening crunch. Doris Otton falls silent forever. Cries of victory fill the square. You've executed not just an enemy of the revolt, but an Arknian and the former High Commander of Magra. Your verdict inspires the people with a sense of solidarity. In the blink of an eye, they arm themselves with wooden clubs, heavy sticks, and makeshift spears. The most audacious among them awkwardly try on the nobles' surrendered swords. The common people form squads and choose you as their commander. But it is far too early to celebrate. You have only fought off one assault. Prefect Elborn finds you in the boisterous crowd. Montgomery, your courage has saved the prefecture. I'm with you until the end. Whatever you need from me, you will have it. We need to hurry now. The noble militia we've seen in the city pales in comparison to the forces of the Legion. I'll gather our forces in the prefecture and establish a unified command structure. You should find Anna Lebart and aid him in any way you can. His procession must be en route to the Silver Tree by now. The enemies of the New Faith are waiting there, weapons in hand. They'll massacre each other if we don't stop them, Brante. This city is a powder keg with a short fuse. More fire and blood is the last thing we need. What we need is more allies. Having Lennart on our side is crucial. We need a spiritual leader who can unite the city against the Legion. You nod to Alborn. The fate of the feud between the two faiths hangs by the clash of the Silver Tree. You have to be there. You wish the prefect best of luck with his work. Then muster your loyal forces and head for the temple. Doris Otton has suffered a true death. Augustin Alborn is a rebel. Excellent, he's joined us. Order grows. Commoners are in power. Excellent. The nobles have also started to join us again. The revolt is moving in the right direction. We have more troops, and also the common folk still support us. Excellent. This is all going in the right direction. Can we get the faith on side as well? An enormous sea of humanity flows through Anazotti, filling the streets of the temple district. They are led by Abbot Lennart. The new believers walk peacefully behind him, many of them women and the elderly. They are unarmed. Their faces show neither fear nor anger. They are so drastically unlike the throngs of rebels who are currently ransacking streets and looting noble houses. The procession slowly makes its way towards the temple at the Silver Tree. The temple has always been where patriarchs of the church accept their sacred duty, along with the heavy burden of responsibility for their flock before the twin gods. When a patriarch speaks, the twins pay heed, and every 8 years it falls upon the patriarch to proclaim it in their sight, how their world is humbly following the lot it has been given. Long after the twins descended to our world, the patriarchs came to be elected at the conclave by the clergy. This tradition has continued for many years. Today dozens of priests have come to the temple in spite of the unrest to conduct the rite and spare the twin worlds from their wrath. But now thousands of commoners are walking to the same temple to elect the new patriarch themselves. You and your followers take a side street to the temple, avoiding the immense procession. Soon the square by the tree is packed, teeming and overwhelmed. But the stairs to the temple doors cannot be reached. A stalwart phalanx of champions of faith blocks the way, with Jean in the lead. They are joined by the Inquisitors, those who have followed the path of the old faith until the very end. I will not allow you into the temple, Lennart. These heretics will not make you patriarch. Father Lennart suddenly begins to ascend the stairs. He does not argue with Jean. The abbot simply faces her with a humble smile and gestures at the people standing behind him. Doubt clouds the champions' faces. Lennart's procession is truly staggering. Even if they are mere commoners, even if they are unarmed and empty-handed, there are simply too many of them to be stopped by a few dozen old believers. Sister Jean, look at them. Are they truly heretics? All of them? They are just people, our brothers and sisters in faith. Why would the Inquisition treat us like enemies? We do not reject the twin gods. Nay, we seek with them our every thought. You rejected the Lord of the Younger when you chose to seek your own lots. No, Jean. The only thing we will reject is Asastius' error. This argument has been going on for years, Lennart. I know each and every point you make. Don't bother. You will not enter the temple. And for all those people, you'll just drag them down to the foot of the pillar along with you. How can you still not understand this after so many years? What do you think you're doing, Lennart? Don't you fear the wrath of the gods? I do not, Jean. When I become patriarch, I will tell the twins that we still love and revere them just as we always have, even as we seek a different path to them. The twins will hear us, they will listen, they will understand. There will be no wrath of the gods. The new believers heed Lennart's words. They begin to firmly ascend the stairs to the door of the temple. The champion's swords do not deter them. Jean watches the massive congregation approach her, her eyes filled with remorse. She raises an arm about to give her final order. Champions of faith, protect the sacred temple, fight to the bitter end. We can't do anything. Oh, bad. That's bad. You reach the foot of the stairs as she speaks these words. This is your last chance to intervene. We haven't really done much to do with faith in general. The fate of the faith will be decided without you. There's not much else we can do, I'm afraid. There can never be peace between the Inquisition and new believers. Sister Jean is right. The dispute between them has been going on for years. Neither side will ever yield to the other. You have nothing to gain here and everything to lose. You gesture to your followers hurriedly, fall back. You watch Jean from a safe distance, no longer able to bear the tension. She orders her warriors to attack. In the name of the Younger, go forth, drive them from this square. The champions of faith obey Jean's order. They get into formation, begin advancing on the new believers, weapons in hand. The unarmed mob recoils in fear, but those in the front row are pushed from behind and driven onto the blades. Blood spatters onto the stairs of the sacred temple. A woman's voice lets out a shrill scream. Panic spreads through the mob like wildfire. Chaos fills the minds of women and men. They begin pushing, pulling, dashing, recoiling like frightened animals, and the warriors of the church keep advancing, unrelenting and lethal. A mighty gust of wind rushes over the square. It roars, howls, almost screams, filled with remorse, agony and wrath. The earth begins to tremble beneath your feet. Before your very eyes, as though in some terrible nightmare, the roof of the sacred temple begins to shake, and the pillars start to sway back and forth. No! By the twins, what is happening? The street jerks beneath you, buckling slightly. Some of your men struggle to remain on their feet. But you cannot look away from the square, and the terrifying sight unfolding there, as people try in vain to escape the divine reckoning. After a few minutes, silence falls. Where the temple at the Silver Tree once stood, there is nothing. The grand and majestic structure is no more. It's been levelled to the ground. Remnants of its walls and roof are strewn across the square like building blocks scattered by a massive hand. The stairs that once led to it have been ground into gravel. A cloud of dust suddenly settles upon the square. After the dust comes the leaves, thousands and thousands of leaves shed by the Silver Tree. They cover the corpses of the truly dead like a pale white shroud. The entire square, closed to the bodies of those yet to be reborn, dissolves into nothingness. There are so many that the light stings your eyes, even though the thick dust still hangs over it all. Just how many people met their deaths today? You do not see another living soul in the square. Neither Lennart nor Jean survived the temple's collapse. The two enemies were both buried in the rubble. The wrath of the gods knows no mercy. What is done is done. There is no changing it. You begin mustering your forces and prepare to move to Empire Square. Enormous crowds of people are already on their way there, about to choose the leader of the Anazotti rebellion. The sun slowly begins to set. Father Lennart and Jean both face true death. Order goes down. Order is fine as long as we don't lose anything else. Revolt goes up. Good. Rebels are winning and our willpower returns as well. It's probably good for us. We move into the evening. The sun is setting. The blood-red sky quavers in the hot smoke from the fires raging throughout the city. You cannot help but recall a passage from the live... fucking hell. Ugh. The sun is setting. The blood-red sky quavers in the hot smoke from the fires raging throughout the city. You cannot help but recall a passage from the lives of the twins. One of the many pages Mother used to quote to you when you were a child. And the elder said, "Lo, I have cast a flame into the world, and I shall guard it until it begins to blaze." Could this passage be referring to today? You lead your followers to Empire Square. You walk around rubble, past abandoned carriages and unfinished barricades. There have clearly been clashes here recently. The dust of the departed is still rising into the sky. Thousands fill the square before the Chancery, well over half the commoners of Anazotti. The Chancery has been under rebel control since noon. All Imperial officials either fled or were torn apart by the mob. Scraps of rumours and gossip reach your ears as you move closer. Did you hear what happened at the Great Tree? It's the Inquisitors. They just started slaughtering folks. They grabbed their swords and started killing unarmed people. The Knights' procession made it to the temple. There was a sign for the twins. All lies. The twins got angry and destroyed them all under the tree. The temple's gone, I tell you. Gone for good. The crowd is on edge. Any dispute could explode into a brawl. A voice in the chancery stairs calls for another people's court. The mob turns as one. Several last-straw rebels drag a handful of well-dressed nobles out onto the steps and force them to their knees. The leader of the executioners is a preacher with a mane of unkempt hair and the wild eyes of a lunatic. The younger, he speaks through us, he does. He gives us the power of his law, the power to punish our enemies, to execute them. Anyone who stands in our way is an enemy of the twins themselves. People, it is time to judge these enemies of the simple folk. What is your sentence? Death! True death! The mob roars. The last straw rebels ready their guns. One of the captives gets to his feet and speaks out defiantly. You dare call this pathetic freak show a people's court? You don't have the power, you never have and never will. You think you can wield the law of the twins? We'll come back and we'll make you pay. The aged nobleman's last words are drowned out by a thunderous volley of gunfire. One by one the nobles collapse, their bodies pierced by bullets. They remain where they fall. The mob gasps in amazement. There can be no doubt. The people's court has the power to mete out true death at will. This is what will happen to anyone who dares oppose us. All hail the revolt. All hail our leader. All hail Sophia. I feel like this is going to get out of hand quickly. We might need to step in. Sophia's going to lead us. She's going to fend off the Legion. She's going to bring justice, first to Anazotti, then to the whole Empire. She's going to tear down the old ways and wipe all the tyrants and nobles from the face of the world. The mob explodes into ecstatic chant. They shout one word over and over again. Sophia. The enormous throng bellows wildly, eager to see the face of its leader. We're so nearly there. We just need to be leading the revolt now, which means we need to overthrow Sophia. We can unite the rebels around Sophia, but I feel like Sophia's going to end up going too far and turning into a cult of personality. We can take control of the revolt. I'd love to take control of her, or take control of the revolt. We can't do that. We can't break up the mob. We're going to have to overthrow Sophia here. It's not what I want, and we could die for it, but I think we have to try in order to get victory here. You make your way through the crowd and reach the Chancery stairs. Your silhouette seems to blaze in the light of the setting sun. You raise a clenched fist in the air, demanding silence. Your voice booming, you make your proclamation. Sophia is no longer the leader of the revolt. I, Montgomery Brante, lead you now. The people freeze in astonishment when they hear this. A murmur of discontent spreads throughout the crowded square. Who does this Brante guy think he is? We follow Sophia, not you. The discontent grows, but you refuse to relent. Sophia was leading our city to destruction, slaughter and death. Had she remained in charge, it would have meant suffering for us all. You are gathered here not to revel in revenge or destruction. For the first time in history, you have what it takes to lay the foundation of a new world. A world where justice is the same for all, where our states are equal, where we are free of the lots. You will defend the city, you will fend off the Legion, you will persevere and show the Empire that you are forced to be reckoned with. And once they finally realise they have no choice but to reckon with you, they will reckon with all the commoners of the Empire. You end your speech exhausted and hoarse. A little bit like how I'm speaking right now, because I've got the flu, but I was determined to finish this. The murmur fades away, all fear and uncertainty are gone. The thousands of people in the square are no longer suspicious of you, they are hopeful once more. You can see it in their eyes. Then come the first shouts. Lead us, Brante, we're right behind you. Brante, Brante, Montgomery, Brante. Suddenly, a loud, shrill cry resounds behind you, cutting through the cheers. Traitor! Death to the traitor, Brante. Oh yeah, I forgot she can cast flames, that's probably a bad thing. The crowds fall silent, all eyes are on a figure descending the chancellery stairs. Twin Sophia flames smoulder in the young woman's eyes. Brante is lying to you people. If you follow him, you'll be slaves until the end of time. Don't you know that our enemy can't be bargained with? First they'll throw us a bone just to restore order. They'll get even stronger and tighten the nooses around our necks. We can't reason with them, we have to destroy them. Today is the first day of a new era. We'll begin by taking back our city. We will eliminate anyone who dares to stand in our way. Then we will declare war against the old regime, against the entire empire, no mercy. Upon hearing these words, even the most frantic rebels fall silent. A frightened murmur ripples through the crowd. Is Sophia asking them to take on the entire world? Sophia raises her arms skyward. Her eyes are like two blazing suns. Anyone who turns tail and runs is an enemy of the revolt. Our enemy. The crowd remains silent, transfixed by Sophia's glowing gaze. No one will dare to utter a word against her now. This is your last chance to take action before the entire mob turns on you. You take a deep breath and scream at the top of your lungs. She's a witch, it's all witchcraft. Sophia is using magic to control your minds. Incredulous murmurs spread throughout the crowd. You shout as loud as you can. Sophia is just as much of a tyrant as those she wants to overthrow. She'll take away your old shackles and replace them with magical ones. She doesn't care about the people, she only wants one thing, to watch the world burn. The thousands of eyes around you no longer reflect Sophia's golden glow. Confusion spreads among the people. Who should they listen to? Then the shouts begin. Burn the witch, she wants us all dead. Desperate for support, Sophia glances back at her gang. Enough of this, kill Brante and his lapdogs. The time for words has passed. The last straw soldiers reach for their guns, but you are already shouting orders. Your battalions advance on them. The mob is split by the ensuing chaos. Some commoners defend Sophia's cause while others side with you. More still flee the square as fast as their legs can carry them. The last straw. Ready. Aim. Fire. Rebel squads dash out of the chancellery, firearms in hand. The volleys come in quick succession. A hail of bullets hits the square, sparing no one from either side. Commoners trying to escape die along with your soldiers. Dozens of people fall to the ground in the mindless jostling throng, only to be trampled by the fleeing horde. Blood runs along the cobblestones. The corpses of those killed dissipate in the shimmering mist. The battle is a short one. The firearms hold back your assault, the enemy's bullets taking your men out one by one. You outflank Sophia's forces and engage them in hand-to-hand combat. The surviving insurgents drop their weapons and beg you not to execute them. They are ready to fight on your side and hand their leader over to you. Sophia is quickly bound and hurled to the ground at your feet. The rebel leader glares at you from behind a mass of tangled hair. You remind the wounded soldiers that time is of the essence. You must dispose of Sophia for good. The time has come for the people's court. You command your squad to stand Sophia against the wall of the chancellery and take aim. Sophia scrambles to her feet with difficulty. Her face is a hideous mask of bruises. Too bad it took me so long to figure out what you really are, Brante. But this isn't over yet. Before you know it, you'll be burning in the fire I started, you and this whole ugly world. Bitter tears run down Sophia's cheeks. For a split second, you see the frightened girl from next door, pursued by terrifying horsemen. You cut Sophia off and address what remains of the mob. It's time for Sophia to stand trial. They will judge her in the name of the people of Anazotti. This woman was plotting to destroy the city and start a bloodbath that will doom us all, commoners and other estates alike. For the sake of the people, Sophia must be sentenced to true death. People of Anazotti, what say you? Death! A volley of gunshots. Sophia is held against the wall. Shaking violently, she collapses to the ground. Her eyes, which had shone with a livid yellow glow just moments ago, are extinguished forever. The soldiers slowly lower their firearms. You turn to the silent crowd. The verdict of the People's Court has been carried out. The citizens have saved Anazotti from death and destruction. Tonight we must also save it from the Legion. We will no longer be led by Sophia's blind hatred. We will stand firm. We know what we are fighting for. You see hope return to the faces of the disconcerted people. They are shaken by Sophia's death, but you have shown them a new goal, and they have cast their fears aside. Lead us, Brante. Even the old guard of Last Straw, who have always been loyal to Sophia, will follow you. The Revolt City has accepted you as its new leader. Meanwhile, the Watchmen of the Gate bring news. The Legion is only a few hours away. The final battle is drawing near. Will the outcome of the revolt be decided in combat, or is there a peaceful solution? It all depends on the actions you take in the coming hours. Sophia has been executed. Okay, so we lost some troops. The clergy trust us a bit more. The common folk trust us more. But the revolt has gone back down, presumably because of the infighting between the two groups. Willpower's gone down. We're so nearly there. Indeed, we succeeded Sophia as the leader of all the rebel forces in Anazotti. What is next for us, I wonder? And then we have Hearth and Home. The event is a consequence of our previous actions. We're so nearly there, we just need the revolt back up. But actually, we might be able to do this peacefully instead. We may not have to do this via military victory. However, I think we'll leave things there, because this has been quite a long episode for the life and suffering of Brante, and my voice is leaving me. So we will have to continue this another day. I don't suspect the last episode will be very long, but I think this is a good place to leave it. And we will see what the consequences and the outcome of all this will be next time in the final episode. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.